Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Vertical Take with Jennifer and Taha. This is episode 64, and today, all the way from the other side of the world, we have Jessica Holmlund.
Hi guys, lovely to meet you. How are you?
Thanks for coming on.
Right.
Thank you. I'm just gonna dive into it. Let's start at the beginning. How did your journey into acting first begin?
I'd love to say that I had some kind of aha moments on stage as a kid, doing little bits of plays and things, but I didn't have my moment of I want to do film until I had this realization like, oh, I could do this. I could actually do film. I would love to do film, and it kind of just hit me. It was during one of the elf sequences. I don't know if you guys have seen the film. And I
No.
started doing short films in my teen years. So I had to sort of pull back because I'd had this theatrical training. So I was very like gesticular, you pause, and I basically had to erase all of that. So that was well into it. I think my dad kind of wanted me to do theatre, if I'm honest, but he eventually accepted that I wanted to.
Okay. So, did you always have a sense that this was a path you wanted to follow, or did it kind of reveal itself as you went along?
Interesting answer. I always knew that somehow I was just going to do it. And to be honest, I really didn't have a clear sort of thought, oh yeah, I've actually got to do something to make this happen, rather than just expecting that this is just going to happen somehow. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to be an actor. And that got me through a lot of things, sometimes that doesn't matter, like I'm going to get out of high school, I'm going to be an actor. That was a sweet thing for me. I always kind of knew I was going to do this.
Yeah, it's like you were born to do it. That's amazing. So, if you don't mind, Jessica, can you take us back to the moment when you landed your very first vertical drama role? What was going through your head?
And I remember thinking, wow, this story is really intense. I will for those who haven't seen it, but it's a very intense story. Keep using that word because there's no other way to do those scenes. And that was really shocking to me because in the indie environment, you're going to have most of my takes were 1 or 2 takes. I looked for sort of feedback or something from someone, and I didn't get any. And so I thought, okay, that must have been good then. So we just kept moving on. So the rapid pace was really shocking to me. That was my first experience of a vertical. And how I was mostly on set with people who had actually done one before. And so no one else was treating it as strange that we were moving so fast. So that was my first experience was, wow, this is such an intense story. And also, my God, we're moving fast through this. How are we going to shoot this in 7 days? Oh, that's how we're going to shoot this in 7 days.
One take wonders. Yeah.
What was it about vertical dramas that initially caught your attention and made you want to be a part of that world?
I'll be very, very, very honest. The first thing that caught my attention was paid work.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
that is totally fine.
That's the first thing. And it's very difficult, especially in Australia. There isn't a lot of work. And I was like, oh, wow, like you can make this much, you can do, you'll be working quite consistently. And then for me, it's the thing that kind of has kept me coming back is the emotional depth of the stories. So they're very emotionally powerful, and you've only got a certain amount of time to kind of grip the audience and to tell what is usually quite a harrowing story. I tend to alternate between leads and mean girls, which is really weird. So I'm either usually someone who's a bit downtrodden and trying to escape a certain, escape like an ex or overcome some kind of victimhood, or I'm the one doing the victimizing. For me personally, I feel like a lot of the time I do the mean girls. It's more kind of like booking a job, but when I do the leads, I really connect to those stories. And I've certainly had a lot of people contact me as well, saying that verticals have helped them through like a rough period of their life. And I think that's probably the most inspiring thing about doing verticals for me is I actually haven't had anyone through the independent work that I've done contact me and say, oh, wow, this, kind of saved me. So that's the thing that I think keeps me going back to verticals.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm so glad that you're able to, adjust between being the villain and the Denzel in distress.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very interesting doing that flippity flop sometimes on the same day
Right.
from one set to another. You know, you're either walking in and sort of dressing someone down or you're being dressed down. And I have had
Literally.
one where I walked from one to the other on the same day.
Oh,
Oh.
Got on a
Okay.
plane and flew to the second set, and then I went from victimhood to the extreme to you know, queen of the set. That was a
and we
big
love
flip.
that.
And yeah. And music, I would say, definitely helped me through that. I was listening to this music on the plane, just like, you know, got to get into like bitch mode, you know, like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
Literally.
got to get
yeah.
into sassy mode. I had this like upbeat, like Lady Gaga and all this other kind of stuff, like playlist playing. I was like, I can get there. I'm in the right mindset. Just walked into wardrobe. They always give you beautiful outfits for the mean girls. And I was like, I'm ready to,
Yes.
you know, to make someone feel bad about themselves.
Bad? You mean make them rethink their whole existence? At
Yeah,
times.
exactly.
Yes.
Some of these mean girls
I'm
can be
ready to
really
I'm ready to
mean.
ruin someone's life, basically.
Literally.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Well, see,
amazing.
that was what I was going to ask, and I think you kind of answered that. Like, how do you? Because you said you literally went across in a plane in one day to another set. How do you get into like? How do you go from the mean girl to the
The good
hidden
girl to
heiress?
the mean tech.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, how do you get
I
yourself
always
in that mindset?
give a lot of that praise to music. I'm very musically inclined. I sing, I play the piano and the harp, but I
Mm.
find the music is what sets my mood more than anything else. So a lot of my characters I actually have playlists for.
Mm.
Sometimes I delete them once I'm done with the role, but sometimes I keep them just for kind of like nostalgia or something. I don't know what. Or if
Yeah.
I have to play a similar character. So it's playlists for me. They really reset your mood.
Yeah,
Yeah. Especially if you got to
I
do it
agree.
quickly.
Yeah.
Mm. So, short film storytelling is such a unique space. What do you personally love about working in this format?
In short dramas.
Short-term storytelling, yeah, short dramas,
Yeah.
indies, that kind of stuff.
Like verticals.
Yeah,
Um, I feel like you have to make every second count in these
right,
because you have such a short period of time to actually get a message and an emotional message usually over. So that's a challenge for me, especially growing up in theatre where things can tend to be quite drawn out. And in the indie space where you can spend 20 minutes, you know, sort of going like basically, I don't know if you've some of the scripts I've read will be like, you know, 2 pages of someone describing something. You would never
right.
have that in a vertical. And I
No,
think we really did learn to take our time. Um, you don't have that here. And I'm a very curious person. I always enjoy like whatever the next thing is. And so I got really excited about the potential for a new genre. You know what I mean? So
right,
I think for me, it's about making every single second count, and just sort of like holding the story in your hands and being able to deliver it in a short period of time. So that's a new challenge for me because I come from theatre.
Yeah.
I think also because you're in a vertical frame, you end up naturally a little closer, and I think it really
right.
challenges um, any inauthenticity.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you've got these sides around you, I think you can get away with a little more. The
Mm,
challenge for verticals for me as well is being able to stay in one spot. I'm very much, especially when I'm delivering something emotionally intense, I'm a bit of a mover. My first
that's
couple,
fine.
I was pacing a lot, you know, back and forward, and they're like, "Where are
Oh
you
no.
going?" You know, but instead of moving this way, you kind of have to learn to sort of you can kind of do
Yeah,
stuff with
coming up and
heights and
forth.
levels a
Yeah,
little bit more. Yeah, but really, you can't go wandering off.
no. Mm-mm. No, because when you show emotion, stomping off when you're angry, stomping to the corner, turning around to show
Mm,
disbelief, these are emotions, and
yeah, It actually
Unfortunately, not all of that can be.
Forces you to confront stillness. So that's
Oh, absolutely.
probably, I think, one of the most challenging things about the genre. Yeah.
Yeah.
So out of all the projects that you've been a part of, which one has meant the most to you on a personal level?
Definitely Divorce Queen returns to the stage. I actually took a bit of I did that one for less than my usual rate. That was the one with the pianist, Anna. I gotta be really careful how I pronounce that. The pianist, Anna.
Yeah.
There was definitely a few outtakes. There was definitely a few outtakes where people did say penis.
Oh God.
Which would have made a great little reel, but anyway. And that was because of the piano, basically. I wanted to do one about someone who was involved in the creative world, and I grew up playing the piano. And Anna's story just really, really touched me, of someone who had sort of hidden their talents away from the world. And I don't want to spoil it. I think it's in the trailer that she has an injury, but really there's a part of her that's always hiding. She performs in a mask when she does perform. And I think it was kind of like a message to my younger self, who used to hide a lot of things that I could do away from the world for fear of judgment. And still, to an extent, does. I could definitely put more musical stuff up of me, and that's a goal for the next month or so, is to like get some music online. More music. I got like one piano clip and like 2 harp clips, so I'm like, let's go. But that one meant the most to me personally. And I got to play the piano for real in it, which is not something I'd been able to do in a project before. And I remember that a woman actually contacted me after that one came out and said that that story had inspired her to get back into playing the piano after 20 years. So that that was really touching to me to hear that had affected someone. And she showed me a picture of like a piano that she bought. So she'd been like a mum, a housewife for 20 years, and had given up all that, and her kids were now grown up. And so that was like tearing up.
Awesome.
That was really inspiring to me.
That's awesome. That's always a nice feeling when someone resonates that much to a character. Now you did mention that you play the harp. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I mean, obviously, I've seen people or met people who play the piano, but the harp, was that like a hard instrument to learn?
It's such a weird instrument. It was easier coming from a piano background, but it's different in that the piano you play sideways. It's almost like going from horizontal to vertical. And the harp you play this way. So sometimes when I was initially transitioning, I remember going back to the piano after being very focused on the harp for about 5 months. And I've been playing for a bit over a year now, the harp. And I went back to the piano and I was like, I couldn't work out how to make my hands go this way anymore. It was very odd. And I think actually I was probably inspired by the film that actually got me into acting in the first place, which was Lord of the Rings, and all the beautiful elves sitting around playing lovely harp instruments and things. And I just always thought it was really beautiful. But then I always thought, I've got enough on, which might be true. But I met someone at a medieval fair I attended who makes harps, and that was the start of it. And I got my first harp. So now I have 3. I'm not allowed to buy any more, according to the people. They're like, no, that's enough. You've got 3.
3 is enough. I'd agree.
Well, I've got a small one, I've got a medium one, and then I've got a really big one that only fits in like an SUV. So I'm like, I feel like you kind of need 3, but sure, I'll stop. So it is a bit of an unusual instrument.
Maybe another small one or a medium one.
Yeah, like maybe just like a little lyre. And I put this idea to my friends and family, and they're like, no, absolutely not. You are cut off. Because I have one piano. And I have 3 harps. I'm thinking about 4, and they're like, because they're big instruments, even if they are, small or medium, they're still very big. So I play weddings, which is really, really fun. I love weddings. I love love. I'm always sitting there playing the harp, just crying. But it is an unusual instrument, I suppose.
Yeah. Like I said, like, we always hear, people play the piano, but harp is probably the first one that I've ran into. So that's why I had to ask that question.
Very
Okay.
tricky instrument, and I think one of the string instruments that has the most amount of strings in
Oh.
it.
Yeah, my big
Yes.
one has 48 strings. And
Mm,
sometimes I just feel like I don't want to tune it because it's going to take like 10 minutes
literally.
just to tune it.
Yeah, because it's at the
Yeah.
top and then you have it at the bottom and you have to like
Yeah. But I
maneuver.
like that the notes are quite consistent, like piano. If I hadn't had a piano background, I don't think I would have been able to go into harp so easily.
No.
I tried guitar for like a couple of months and I couldn't get past the fact that the strings change as soon as you move your hand up and down.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
not a piano
Mm.
background kind of way of
No,
thinking.
it's not. Because the tune's the same. It doesn't matter if you're pressing it again. But if you mix it in with the other keys, then it sounds a little different. But
Oh.
itself, the string itself is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respect to those that play the guitar.
True. So, was there a particular set, shooting day, or behind the scenes moment that really stuck with you? Something truly unforgettable?
Um I behind the scenes. There was my second last set that I did actually. I went to set on my birthday. Um
Right.
that was really sweet. Uh and my favorite thing about going to sets is usually when I recognize people. And I
Mhm.
recognized someone that I hadn't seen in a really long time, but who was I really love them. And I was being driven to set, and I almost jumped out of the car when I saw them because I didn't realize they were going to be on set that day. Which is don't ever attempt that. I was that excited to see them, but I just remember I was not in the scene that was happening way outside, and they certainly couldn't hear us from the set. But I remember this actor that I love and this actor that I only met like a day ago came over to where I was sitting and I was sort of fixing my hair a little bit because I'd been in the wind and we did have a hair and makeup artist, of course, but they were outside and I was just like, oh, I'll just sort of like fix that slightly. And they came over to
Mhm.
the piano and they just started singing Happy Birthday. And I know that just
Oh,
sounds really corny, but it was just like on the piano, one of them
no.
playing the piano, one of them just like in a booming voice. And like it was just the most beautiful moment for me. It really picked me up. Um, and I just remember thinking, like, okay, one of these actors I know really well, but the other one I don't know at all. And I just feel like that sense of community that you get where you meet someone on set and they're automatically like your best friend.
Yeah.
Those are the best behind the scenes moments for me. And I love working on my birthday. People are always like, why would you go to set on your birthday? I'm like, that's the best thing I could be doing on my birthday. Really. More birthdays like
Yeah.
that, please. So that was
Yeah.
really sweet. I also
Yeah.
witnessed a prank on the same set, which was really funny, where we had this little girl. I don't know if you've done an interview with her yet, little Miss Sarah Rose.
Not,
No.
not yet.
No.
So real, oh, she's so sweet. And she was playing the lead's daughter, who I was awful to for the entire script, really awful to. But she played this prank on her mother. During one of the
No.
behind the scenes moments where they came in and the lead said to me like shh, and then she was kind of running around the room and then she pretended to fall over and she started crying and I was like, what's going on? And her mum came running in like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And she was sort of like, I fell and this and that, and I was like, wow, is this happening for real? Because she's a really good actress. And I remember I was standing there with the lead actor and we were like, when is she gonna say, ha, I got you? Um, and she kept it going for a while, and we're like, okay, it's been like a whole like 40 seconds, like, like trying to make eyes at her, like say something, she's pretty
You scared
worried
her
Yeah.
now.
more.
And it was so funny because I kept going back and forth between, is this a prank or isn't it a prank? Because that girl is such a good actress
Right.
Yeah.
that I honestly couldn't see any gap in her performance at all. And eventually she was like, I'm fine. And her mum was like, oh God, I had me so worried, Zara. Very talented actress. I hope to work with her again. Absolute ray of sunshine on sets to have that bouncing energy.
Yeah.
I guess that's 2 behind the scenes moments.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very
Well,
much for sharing them.
it's interesting because I always say this: those child stars, like they are talented, like for their
Right.
for their. I mean, I don't want to say for their age, but yeah, just some of them. I'm just like, I don't even think I would have been that talented at that age.
I know. I
I
said some
was,
awful things to her, and she reacted. She's just looking at me with like, I'm like, oh my god. It's different when you're doing it to an adult. They can handle it, but
yeah,
sometimes, when you
Right.
say something really awful to a kid and like you have
to
to
a
fake
kid.
push them down on the ground or something, and they look at you like that, and you're like, oh god,
I'm
it's a
sorry.
child. I'm so sorry. And there were so many takes I did where I said something really nasty, and then I was like, are you okay?
Right after. You're right, love. Right.
Checking on the adult actor, but the kid actor, I'm like, I didn't traumatize her. And meanwhile, she's running across the field, in between, when she hasn't got anything on, she's like bouncing off somewhere, happy as anything. And I'm going, I hope you're not traumatized.
Right. I just make you, think about your whole existence a few seconds ago, and now you're running around.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
professional. Very
Amazing.
resilient little girl.
Yeah, I'll have to look. And you said her name was Zara.
Zara.
Oh, Zara.
Okay.
I can send you her Instagram.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, definitely. Because we've had
Her mom, Rebecca,
little.
runs her account.
Her parents.
Yeah,
Yeah. Most of
yeah,
the parents do run their account. That's fine.
yeah,
And the parents are lovely.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my god. Her mom is actually, she was like the set mom. She brought me a gluten-free cake for my birthday because I'm
Aw.
celiac. So that was just really sweet. She, organized that herself.
Oh,
That's amazing.
yeah. So every role shapes us in some way. Which one would you say has challenged or changed you the most as a performer?
I feel like it might be a tie between my husband and his American Hero. I played the most awful woman.
Mm.
I can say that now because I'm not playing her anymore. I try not to make judgment when I'm actually playing the character.
Yeah.
That's
But
fine.
she was very, very violent. She was a psychopath. I was playing a psychopath. And normally when I play Mean Girls, it's someone who walks in and goes, oh, I can't believe you're wearing that. That's so last season or something, and then kind of like flops off,
Yeah.
But this character
Literally.
was like, she was constantly like experiencing, I guess, some kind of like narcissistic threat. Like someone would say something and she would interpret it the worst possible way that you could interpret it. And she would lose it. And I had several scenes where I had like a knife and I was like threatening people with knives, beating people with batons, just insane level of violence. And I think that was the most challenging role for me because one, I've never felt like I'm particularly villainous looking, and I know I've said this before, but I don't feel like I am. And once I got my first villain role and showed that I could do it, I think I was starting to get more and more and more. And I've always felt like I do look kind of sweet. And trying to escape that, I think that happens to any actor, is that I was cast a lot as victims. And after a while, I thought, I've got to do something different. I've got to break out of that somehow. So I was so excited when I got this script, but I also thought, how am I going to pull this off? And so I had to find really strong motivations for why she was acting like that. Because, I never just want to kind of walk in and be like, oh, she's evil. We're going to be evil today. Action, evilness, cut. And so finding the motivations, I kind of came up with the idea that what she wanted, which was power, majoritively power and money, was constantly under threat. And I sort of brought that in from my own life, because most actors are ambitious. I don't think anyone would really deny that. And the amount of rejection that you receive all the time. So I tried to bring in those feelings that you get when you're really excited for something and then it's taken away from you at the last minute, which has happened to me quite a few times. I've been really close to big things. And to magnify that by like 100%, right, for someone who's incredibly insecure. and then to bring that that at 100 times magnification comes out as this intense rage, right? And so that's how I justified that character, because otherwise she was going to be pretty boring on screen. And the challenge as well was to keep the energy up, because a villain of that magnitude needs to be constantly charged and ready to go. And that was exhausting. I'm so glad that I had Zara on that set, because she was bounding around with energy and it was giving me energy. And yeah, I think for the leads, when you're being a victim, I'm not trying to minimize the role of leads. Leads, you know, that is absolutely the hardest thing to do. But I don't think you have to keep that level of energy at all times as you do to be a villain that's ready to just fly off the handle at any moment. So that was a huge challenge for me. And the other role I would say would be Revenge Queen's Kickback, which was a role called Julia, who was a woman that found out that her ex-husband was cheating on her, and so decided to take him out. And it is a really fun film, a really fun short drama for anyone that hasn't seen it, because she ruins his life, but for the majority of it, he doesn't really know why everything is falling down around him. So it's really fun. But I had to switch between these moments of vulnerability and intense pain, and then vengeance, you know, and sort of be a bit psychopathic. So that was such a challenge, switching between those things so rapidly, because it was vertical format. Everything's fast, you know. So those are my two most challenging, I would say.
Okay.
So on the flip side, has there been a character who lingered with you well after you filmed it and like wrapped the whole project?
Yeah, I mean, I know I've already spoken about her before, but I would have to say my piano playing character, Anna. Sort of like I would say, a regular reminder to not hide behind masks, which is something I've spent a lot of my life doing. Afraid of judgment. I don't know who it was that said, you know, if you don't want to be judged, don't do anything. But that, and even if you don't do anything, this is what I realized, you'll still be judged for doing nothing. So you literally can't avoid judgment. But I spent so much of my life being very anxious and very concerned about any form of judgment. And I think that's what Anna represents, you know. And there's a glorious part of that where she, you know, she's revealed and the mask is taken off her, and she accepts, you know, the fact that everyone's going to know who she is and her identity. And she comes into that and finds someone that, you know, loves her for that talent that she's hidden away. And that meant a lot to me. And it continues to mean a lot to me as an artist. And there's people out there I know, they may not even be musically inclined. They may, you know, be trying to get into the acting career. And there's a lot of introverts in the acting industry. I think people don't realize that, but a lot of us, including myself, are actually quite introverted. And I just hope those kinds of stories inspire those people to take the mask off and show their authentic self to the world. So that's the character that stayed with me the most.
Okay. Well, now let me ask you something, because you did mention the whole introverted thing. Like, do you have any advice on someone who may be watching this that is an introvert and wanting to get into like the entertainment, not necessarily acting, but just anything, music, acting?
I would say do theatre first. I find theatre a lot more challenging from an anxiety perspective, because if something goes wrong in film, you can do another take.
Right.
There's also less people watching you. You may only have 6 to 8 people in the room. With theatre, you know, usually you're performing to several hundred. If something goes wrong on stage, you know, you forget a prop or something, or a line gets dropped, you can only help yourself and help the other people on stage, and vice versa. So it's kind of a form of exposure therapy is what I would recommend, which I realize isn't the nicest thing to always say. But if you throw yourself in the deep end, when you come back to doing, say, if you wanted to do short dramas or film, you'll find them a lot easier. And I actually went back and did a theatre show about 1.5 years ago. And I don't really get nervous on film sets anymore. sometimes a little bit before the first scene, and then once the first scene's done, I'm like, I can do this. But the level of anxiety I experienced going back to theatre was immense. I was so nervous. And so I really recommend theatre and just throwing yourself in the deep end. And I know it's easier said than done. And I don't advocate for, people using alcohol, but I will say that there's been a couple of times that I've had a tiny little sip of something when I've done theatre, and that helped me. That helped me in the beginning. So, and that's actually quite common. People think that that's not a thing, and it is. Especially, talking to my dad, who was, on the West End in London, like a brandy and then you do a show. And so, as long as you don't develop a problem, I don't think there's anything wrong with that to get you past that, those initial sort of physiological responses like shaking that you normally get, because that never looks good on stage. But I think exposure therapy, the most intense form that you can do, and then pull back if you want to do short dramas, or if you want to do theatre, then you're exactly where you need to be.
Imagine playing a mean girl on stage and you're shaking.
Yeah, exactly. And I so often get asked to be mean girl. So I'm gonna make you regret everything. You can't. I couldn't have shook his anger either.
I remember I was in a talent show, my very first talent show. I think it was like when I was in 9th or 10th grade, and I was singing, and I felt like I was Elvis Presley, because as I was standing up there, my leg kept shaking. I mean, I sounded good, but my leg was just a shaking because I was so nervous, and I was I could be
in your voice. Did you hear your singing voice? The shaking, did you hear it in your singing voice? Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't hear it. I mean, and I got like standing ovation, so apparently people liked it, but
amazing.
I was like just sitting there, I was like, man, Elvis Presley would be proud.
I love that.
But yeah.
See, sometimes your body reacts in certain ways, and sometimes I even think I'm not nervous. Why have I got a little bit of a shake going on somewhere? You don't even realize. But I would just say you just have to, there's no foolproof way of kind of getting over your anxiety and nerves. You just have to keep putting yourself out there, even if it's just smaller increments, pushing yourself outside your comfort zone just a little more every day.
Yeah.
And singing is a great way of doing that, because that makes so many people nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
unlike you, if you can't sing. But some people, if you actually can sing, but if you can't, it definitely makes you more nervous. I know, because I have a friend who had to do a musical theatre audition. He got sent by his agent. He thought, how am I going to do this? I can't sing.
Oh my gosh.
And I had to guide him through that, which was really, really hard.
Yeah.
And he did an amazing job.
Did he? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So we love to give viewers a peek behind the curtain. What is something about you that people may not know or may be surprised to learn about you?
I do martial arts. That always surprises people a little bit. So I spend some time training in Taekwondo. I love Taekwondo. I'm kind of tall. I'm about 175 centimeters. 174, 100. I'm pretty tall, and I have quite long legs. So I chose Taekwondo for that reason. And I also think that like a lot of the roles that I'd love to, kind of play, which I guess are kind of like Bond girl style things, I'd love to branch out into, have those kind of like moves where they'll just kind of like kick someone and spin around. And I thought this is something I want to do. And I also dabbled a little bit in Kali, which is another martial art where you have weapons. So daggers and like long poles and everything, and you're sort of fighting someone. And also Jeet Kune Do, which is Bruce Lee's martial art that he created. So I've dabbled in those a bit. I've done more in Taekwondo and kickboxing. And I also do archery, sort of like you know, every couple of months I go out to the archery field and shoot some arrows just to keep that skill up. So I kind of have some weapons-based hobbies that I just really enjoy to let off some steam. Yeah. And I hope to be able to bring that into acting soon. I haven't been able to bring. Oh, actually, I did one scene in archery for a vertical, actually, which shot in China. So looking forward to that coming out. That's called Heartbeats again, unless the title changes. Which
Was
it might.
just about to say.
No, I never know when it's going to come out. Sometimes I'm like looking on Google, like when's it coming out, and then I don't notice for weeks because it came out as something completely different.
Yeah, Heartbeats changed into I harvested my boss's heart to make it my last meal or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
That's the name of the vertical. How did you know?
Yeah. Usually something really long.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like I have found that because like I've been doing like once a week, I'll go through like each of y'all's, like the people that we've interviewed, I'll go through your IMDb just to see what the latest vertical, and there'll be some and I'll like message you guys and say, hey, when did this come out? And they'll be like, well, that hasn't even came out yet, but it's showing that it's out now. And it's like,
okay.
It's on my IMDb and it has not come out yet. Yep.
Yeah. So
and sometimes some of them come out and then I can still never find them. One came out and it only came out on an app that is only available in the US.
Right.
So I've never seen that one.
Wait, what's the name of the app?
What's the name of I actually can't remember. I wish I could. It was one of the ones I did ages ago. I don't think I have my resume anymore. It's probably changed titles or something. That's probably why I can't find it. It's probably like, you know, the billionaire fireman, you know, blacklisted her cousin's dog or something. I never.
So Jessica, this industry can be very fast-paced. How do you personally protect your mental health and stay grounded throughout it all?
I'm very strict when I'm on sets because when I first started doing verticals, I would get home, I would sort of lounge around on the couch pretty exhausted because the days are like 13-hour minimum with a lunch break, and that's if you don't go over time, which happens a lot, and then there's travel to and from sets, so easily 16 hours, so that gives you like 8 hours, and that's if you're not doing overtime. So I'm very strict about my time management when I'm on set now because I used to get home, I'd like lounge on the couch, like, I'm going to watch some Netflix, and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm going to have 5 hours sleep. So now I'm really strict when I'm on sets, and I'm like, you go home, you shower, you go to bed, get up, shower, you go to set. And I would also say for keeping up my energy, I like to make sure that I'm laughing and having fun in between takes. And I know that sometimes that's construed as not taking things seriously or not being professional, but I feel like that is so necessary to me. If I don't have those moments of hilarity where I'm cracking jokes with my co-workers, then I can't keep it going, especially if it's a really intense, like a tragedy. I've done quite a few tragic verticals. I actually feel like the more intense the emotion, the sadder the vertical, the more I have to laugh in between the scenes. I actually did a horror feature film, which, you know, broke me a little bit because I remember the director saying, like, every time I would attempt to have jokes with my co-workers, he's like, no, stay in your mood, stay sad, stay miserable. And this was very early on in my acting career. And honestly, I took about an 8 or 9 month break from acting after completing that feature film because it wrecked me emotionally. So I would say, laugh as hard as you can in between your takes. Of course, try not to disrupt anyone else doing their own thing. You know, if you need to move away from where things are happening, and during breaks, make sure you're taking a break for yourself. So sometimes for me, that involves finding a little back of a building somewhere to just kind of take a little breather and sort of lie against the wall. And these are just little things that I do to keep myself going. And I would also say, because I'm very musical, fun playlists, fun upbeat playlists to listen to while you're traveling, whether that's in the car or on your lunch break against the building. Have your earpods and just, so yeah, music, laughter, taking breaks.
Yeah. So how do you balance that inner drive to achieve big goals with keeping your personal happiness intact?
I would say that it's sort of directly related to me. So you're asking how I keep myself happy even though I'm chasing big goals?
Exactly. Yeah.
I think you need to break down your big goals into smaller goals. Otherwise, you will be miserable, because big goals take a very long time.
Mm.
That's something I've been trying to practice more and more is having a yearly goal and then having a quarterly goal and then having a monthly goal and thinking, okay, well then, what do I have to get done this week to move towards that? And then you actually start to see incremental progress that will make you feel better. If your goal is simply, I want to be a movie star or I want to be a vertical star, then I think you will set yourself up to be miserable pretty quickly, because most people, their journey is not going to be like that. It might be like, oh, I had one vertical that did really well and reached #1 on Stardust or Real Short or something. So you have to have smaller goals. That's what I would say for helping for keeping yourself happy while you're chasing your bigger dream. And I would also say that I think that every actor should have a hobby that is unrelated to acting, for sanity. I have music and that's my sanity.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So shoots can get intense. How do you keep your energy up and stay sharp on these long, demanding filming days? And I know that Celsius needs to sponsor you guys.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember one, I don't know if I should say this. I remember one take I had, one shoot I had recently where I was not on camera. The camera was not on me, but in between feeding my lines to the other actor, I was just taking little sips of Monster.
Hey,
And
you got to
the
do what you got
director
to
was
do.
laughing. So that was good because I was like, oh, if he says something, I'm obviously going to put it down. But I'm like, I just need like it was an ensemble piece. There's about 12 people saying various things. So I was like, I'm not on for a while, so we're going to have a sneaky sip. I'm probably pretty addicted to energy drinks. I would say that probably, yep, so caffeine, definitely. And I think, I feel like, unfortunately, I probably already kind of touched on this in the previous one, would be joking around, making friends with everyone on set, so that it feels like you're just hanging out with your buddies, because acting should be fun. We're not, we're not curing cancer or anything. We're sort of supposed to be having fun.
Right.
And if you're having fun, then you're not really working, I guess. So that helps to keep my energy up. And especially, I would say, just to repeat again, for the intense stuff, make sure you are laughing and having a good time when you are not on camera. And, some people say, oh, that throws me out of my mood. And I get that for some really intense scenes, you may need to stay there, especially if you've got, a quick lighting change. But majority of the time, you can do it. You can switch out and switch back in. That's part of the training. So do it. Laugh. Keep yourself going.
Exactly. And I feel like it can't like do mental health that well if you aren't laughing, because I know actors who, I'm not trying to bring this interview down, but they're no longer here because they did stay in character for a lot of and
yeah. They just sort of like the method, and they're like, I'm going to be sad all the way through my lunch break. That's very not my method at all. I really, and I know that sometimes I'll stay in an accent because I don't think that really affects my mental health, but I really think that you have to come out of it. And the set that I probably laughed the hardest on was the one where I was that psychopathic woman doing those horrible things, and that, helped me because I don't want to stay in the mode of a psychopath. for 16
Yeah.
plus hours a day, because I think that could really affect you. And I studied psychology for 3 years. That I think was part of my acting thing, is that I'm just fascinated by people. And so I think I understand that you cannot stay in that state for that long.
No, you can't.
No.
No. Don't make yourself miserable. We're having fun.
Literally.
There you go. So, how do fans usually respond to your vertical drama characters?
Um, I've only ever so far had really positive responses.
Amazing.
I've had, yeah, I mean, probably the most interesting thing about doing verticals is you actually get responses. My independent work so far, aside from family and friends contacting you just to sort of say, wow, like I loved the way you did that, a lot of the time you don't get feedback from members of the public. So it's actually been shocking for me getting so much feedback at all. And definitely seeing that people have seen things in your scenes that you didn't even see. Um, the intensity of like two hands, two fingers sort of touching in a scene where you may not even realize that they touched.
Yeah.
So the fact that people have those reactions to me is a beautiful thing, because every time I get feedback like that, I revisit those roles and I see it differently. And sometimes I almost wish, like, oh, maybe if I'd thought about it that way. But I suppose you can never think about something, in every single possible way. And I'm just happy that people are having their own response to these things. I had someone contact me about, like the role of a parent in the one I did about the piano. And she said, oh, I can see that Anna's backstory would have been that she never had a supportive parent, and that's why it was so important, when she went over to her new lover boy's house, that the mother accepted her. And I was like, wow, I didn't even that was not part of my my backstory for her, but I love that.
Yeah.
Where were you 6 months ago?
Right. And I'm always amazed by, because like I have a hard time seeing like these verticals for what they are, like, because it's hard for because they are so fast paced, it's hard to build a backstory in them. So it amazes me when I see like some of these girls that review these verticals, and they go into such depth about the characters, and I'm like, what?
Want to come work for me?
Yeah. So yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I
So.
would have a backstory, but it's just sometimes it just doesn't line up at all with what people have told me, and sometimes I think, oh, I almost kind of prefer their version, or at least some aspects of it.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So has there ever been?
come be my little, come be my like assistant or my helper or my, the person that interprets the script and gives me new ideas.
Literally.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, Jessica, has there ever been a moment where a fan surprised you with how interpreted, sorry, fucked up.
Like,
Has there ever been a moment when a fan surprised you with how they interpreted a scene or storyline?
I feel like I kind of already delved into
You
this,
did,
unfortunately.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh well, I expanded the question a little too far. It was definitely that mother one. I honestly was very, very surprised by that. And I do remember kind of thinking that would have been so good if I'd thought of that. But yeah, unfortunately, I had a completely different backstory for the role of the mother.
Yeah.
I sort of had like an absent mother as a backstory, rather than a mother that didn't accept the creative talents of the main character, which kind of brought its own flavor to it. But yeah, I would say that was the most surprising one for me, and probably because I actually preferred the fans' interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish kind of that verticals were like mainstream in the fact that they're a little bit more open during the filming of the Vertical, because it seems like they're just very secretive. Like you guys can't say too much about what it's about, the characters, what's going on. And if they were a little bit more open about that, then yeah, maybe you would have gotten that feedback, and that would have helped
Yeah.
you tremendously.
But at least
So,
I'm like, well, the fact that someone could have that interpretation means that at least the interpretation that I had didn't block off the possibility of someone reading it like that. So that's kind of
yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's a good point. Okay, so who or what is inspiring you most these days, personally or professionally?
I think one thing that's inspiring me a lot at the moment is actually the resilience of people in this industry. In the last few years, only we've had COVID, we've had fires, we've had writing strikes,
Yeah.
we've had so many things. We've had the rise of AI, which is a real hot topic.
Yeah.
And especially, I think you're probably more on top of these things in America because of the writer strikes and such that happened over there. And the fact that so many performers are still here and still doing this and still giving it, every 100%, I think inspires me every day. Because the industry has gone through so much in the last few years, and yet
Yeah.
it risks dropping off into like a sort of somber conversation, but I don't really see less people here than there were before. Everyone is still doing this despite everything that's happened and still adapting. And when vertical started to become popular here, all of a sudden, so many people I know were like, okay, we're going to do verticals now. We're going to, switch the way that we've studied to do acting, and we're now going to act in a vertical frame. And it didn't faze them at all. And I think that is terribly inspiring to me. And I think on a different kind of note, I'm also just inspired by being able to be a full-time actor. That's incredibly inspiring. I had a moment where I was in China and I was staying in the most beautiful hotel I've ever been in. Literal Disney princess fairy tale castle with an ocean view. And I remember sort of standing back against the wall and looking at this room that I was in. And I'd set up my little tripod just in case any auditions came in. And I took a few pictures because I wanted to remember the moment. I was like, this is just so affirming, and I haven't had anything this affirming right now. Like, I'm here for a job. There's a very good chance I'm going to get more auditions while I'm here, which is why I've got my tripod. And I'm a full-time actor. And being able to say to people, hey, what do you do? For so many years, I said, I work, casual jobs in like events and stuff and promo and sort of things. And it's only in the last 6 months, I would say, that I have been confident to say I'm an actor. And I probably could have said it a little before then, but I think old habits die hard, and I've been saying that for years. That's incredibly inspiring. That's a personal inspiration for me to be able to say I'm an actor, and people say, what have you been in? And say, look at this. So one, the resilience of the industry, and two, being able to be a full-time actor. Very inspiring.
Yeah.
That is inspiring.
So when you're not working, what does a perfect day off look like for you?
I like to play my harp.
That's fine.
Yeah, I find it a very soothing instrument. I watch a lot of TV and a lot of, content on screen. So oftentimes I'm sort of melting into the couch, which sounds very unglamorous, absorbing something. I got really addicted to C-dramas for a while, which I suppose is almost like the next step after verticals. I love the aesthetics. I feel like the aesthetics of this, I don't know if you've seen any of the Chinese dramas in general, but they're so beautiful. And I'm a sucker for pretty things on screen. So perfect day off is playing some music, watching some TV, and not going out. I guess that's my introvert showing right there.
Being a homebody.
A day to myself.
Yeah.
A little bit of a couch potato.
Fine to relax, yeah.
definitely in between
Well,
shoots. You want to relax and stay at home.
yeah, definitely. Now, I don't know if this is in the rapid fire. I hope it's not. But what are you binging right now? What TV show are you binging?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Now, see, I haven't watched the second season yet. I watched the first season. It was great. So,
I only just started the second season, so I'm like
okay,
only on to episode 1.
okay,
But I'm really enjoying it so far. I smashed through season 1 in
yes.
an embarrassingly short amount of time for a
Mm,
human being.
that's fine.
Yes.
Water breaks? What is that? I don't need to go to the bathroom. Fine. Like let's just keep going. Let's get
Where,
Exactly.
where's my catheter?
I don't need food. Yeah, exactly.
Just pile up in the corner. Oh God.
It's your
I'm a
turn.
real danger of binging things. I do it a lot.
So
Mm.
every actor has those defining milestones. What has been a true pinch me moment in your career so far?
I'm so bad. I keep skipping ahead because I feel like somehow I
Because you
expanded
just
on a
said
previous question. I
the
thought you did
castle.
this one. And it was the castle. It was the castle in China where I was like,
Castle
wow,
and like pinch me, I'm in a
maybe
castle.
I can think. Maybe pinch me. I'm in a castle. Maybe I should try and think of another pinch me moment then. Oh, actually, I got recognized at a nail salon in China, which was
Ooh.
Oh,
so random and weird for me, and maybe for them as well, because um, I was getting my acrylics redone, and I sat down, and it's difficult because a lot of people don't speak English over there,
Mm.
and these two ladies, they spoke like a very small amount of English, and when I sat down, yeah, someone recognized who I was, and but I didn't realize it because I couldn't understand what they were saying. So it took me like a good amount of time to realize, that they were actually talking about my character and my character's name as well. And I was like, and they showed me a picture, and then I was like, oh my God. And they asked me for an autograph, and that was really a strange feeling for
oh,
me.
yeah.
I remember thinking, like, are you sure? That was my first response. I was like, are you sure? I mean,
Are you
sure.
sure you want my
So that
shitty
was, that was a
autograph?
bit of a pinching moment, except that I was having my nails done, so I couldn't really pinch myself. I had to stay quite perfectly still in my shock. Um, they trapped me there. Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. And then, we got like a photo and everything. So a really sweet pinch me moment in China,
That's awesome.
in Xi'an.
So, for people who want to become vertical actors, what's one piece of advice you'd like to give them?
Ooh. Do a few short films first,
Mm,
because verticals are so fast paced that there won't really be time for you to learn the ropes of filmmaking.
right.
Um, also, of course, you need to bear in mind that your frame is now vertical when you switch over, and that you're only going to
Yeah.
get 1 or 2 takes. Even if you stumble a word, which has happened to me.
Just
Stumble a word.
happened
I
to
need one
me.
more take. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You're like, do some short films just to learn the ropes. And then I think like 3 or 4 to get an understanding of the different crew and what they do,
Mm,
and just to learn how to cut, to act in a way that allows shots to be cut together smoothly. Like don't cut over other actors' lines, or get your continuity. Make sure you're picking up the cup at the same point at each line, so you're not giving your editor a headache. But then, then I think honestly you're ready. I think you need to have a good Instagram presence. This is
mm.
something that helps me book a lot, especially when I'm overseas. I'm most active on Instagram when I'm overseas working. And when I'm here, when I'm trying to book something, when I'm in Sydney as well, that's when I'm most active. It's like, oh, Jess is hunting for work. She just posted a story, did a post, because that's honestly how I book most of my stuff. I get cold called on Instagram for something, and a lot of the casting directors, they're all on there. They're constantly looking. Get your
Mm,
tags, vertical actor, short drama. If you're in
mm.
Sydney or wherever you are. If you're not in Sydney, please don't put actor Sydney.
Literally,
And
don't take away from the from the
girl.
small, not the people
Yeah,
that
so get
are
your tags in
struggling.
order, utilize social media, do some short
Yeah,
films, and you're ready. You're ready, girl.
amazing. Well, there you have it, folks.
And finally, looking at everything you've experienced, how has being part of the vertical drama world helped you grow, not just as a person, not just as an actor, but as a person?
Okay, so I think first as an actor, it's a rigorous training to, especially in the line learning department. You are working as if you are on a sitcom like Neighbours or Home and Away or something. I don't think we have Neighbours anymore.
No.
So I don't know if you're aware of in the US, like huge, series out here, very fast paced. You're doing 5, 8, 10 pages. I did one that was close to 10 pages, more than 10 pages a day of dialogue. And my character was speaking most of the time in huge paragraphs. So I'd say it's a rigorous training in line learning. And when you come out of it, verticals will train you like nothing else to be a very sharp actor, very strong as well, because you have to learn. You will quickly find ways of getting those lines in. For me, it's recording things. I record everything on my phone and listen while I'm cooking or while I'm driving. So it's a very rigorous training. I would say that's something that it has helped me grow exponentially as an actor. As a human being, I think it's more that it's personally touched me. And that's from the stories of the people that have told me that something that I've done or something that somebody else has done has saved them in a way. And like I said, I never really got to experience that in the indie world. And I think it puts a kind of responsibility on your shoulders to bring your best self every time you do a vertical, every time you do really any kind of piece of acting work, because you have that responsibility kind of on your shoulders. And I think most actors won't shy away from that. They'll find that quite inspiring. And I find that very inspiring because I often felt in the indie world that no one's going to watch this. It's certainly not the case in the short drama world. So imbue as much meaning into your roles as you can. And I think be prepared to answer people that message you online. I know some people won't, but I certainly like to, to send someone a message, especially if it's personalized and something has touched them in a special way. I may not respond to someone, you get those messages, especially as a lady, that are just like, hi. But most often I'll get messages from fans, just dropped my water, telling me, something really personal about them. And that always touches me as a human being. And I always take the time to respond.
Yeah.
As long as it's not trauma dumping.
Trauma. No one's really trauma dumped on me yet. Like not in a way that I couldn't handle, not in a way that I would be like, oh, that was a bit much.
Well, you're lucky, because the last trauma dump I got is someone claiming that they lost out on $7,000 from a Jared Harper scammer. Yeah.
Why was that relevant to you?
It was, I went on Discord and I saw my messages and I saw it. I'm just like,
oh no.
So sorry, love. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I've been very lucky. I feel like people in this industry who watch verticals and short dramas have been very respectful.
I mean, I guess I did announce that I'm open here, and I feel bad for her. She's an elderly woman, so
yeah. Okay.
It's hard, yeah.
Well.
Yeah, let's get to the fun stuff. Thank
you. Yes. Okay. So now we're going to get into the 2 truths and a lie.
And currently the score is 20 to 28.
2 truths and 1 lie. Here we go. So I was raised Buddhist.
Okay.
I have a tattoo from a Lord of the Rings quote, "Not all those who wander are lost." And I grew up without a television.
Oh.
You grew up without a television, but now you're in television.
It's possible. I know some people without televisions, or that grew up without televisions.
I mean, Lord of the Rings did get you into acting, so you might have a tattoo of that.
I am going
This
to
is fun for me.
say
I'm sorry.
This is fun for me.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, because obviously you know the truth. And we're over here trying to figure it out.
no. This is usually it's Taha over here making all these different hypothetical.
Yeah, because Jennifer keeps her thought process to herself, and I'm just like blurting stuff out. Like, okay.
um,
Buddhist. Okay, interesting. Very interesting.
which
What are
one do
you
you think it
thinking,
is?
Jennifer? I actually don't know. I think all of them
That
could
could
be
be up.
true. Are you sure you put a lie in there?
Are you sure there's a lie?
Yeah.
Literally.
I'm going to say the
Totally
Buddhist.
right.
I don't think you were raised Buddhist.
She probably was. It's
Okay,
it's.
well,
I don't think he had a television.
so you
Because
think she did have a television?
if you are Buddhist, Buddhists do have some. Yeah, you didn't have a TV growing up. That's what I'm going for. And
No,
you,
that was the lie. So you're saying she did have a TV growing up?
then it's the Lord of the Rings tattoo. I'm going for Lord of the Rings.
So
The
she
Buddhist.
doesn't. So you're saying she doesn't have a
I'm
tattoo?
saying that she didn't have a TV and she grew up Buddhist.
So the lie is the tattoo.
Yeah.
Okay, my lie, or not my lie, but I'm going to say the Buddhist. I don't think you were raised Buddhist. Okay, we've locked it in.
I'm like waiting. I'm like, when is?
You can blurt out the answer.
So I don't have a tattoo.
I knew it.
He's so happy. It's just like it's one of those things as an actor, as soon as you get a tattoo, then it's difficult to cover up. I would love that as a
Yeah.
tattoo, but I have it as a frame in my house. Yeah, then you have a nightmare with covering it up. I have an actress, she has tattoos all down her arms and things, and every time she does something, it's like an extra hour in makeup. So
Oh
no,
no.
thank you. But I did grow up Buddhist. I was raised Buddhist, and I was not allowed to have a TV for a
Because of
very,
that.
very, very, very long time.
Hmm.
The only way I could watch things was through like a computer, put in a DVD, and the amount of DVDs I was allowed to have was limited to certain ones that were kind of like approved. So that didn't really happen until I was almost 17. So it is
Oh
kind of weird
wow.
that I work in short film and TV. Most things I watched at friends' houses if I got a chance, which wasn't very often. So I really didn't. I didn't have
Well,
a
that's
TV.
when the rebellious side comes out when you're controlled too much. Hey, it happens.
I was lucky enough to catch the Lord of the Rings actually, because it wasn't,
Right.
it wasn't well played. So yeah.
Amazing. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations to the rest of you who got that correct. And anyone who's on Team Taha, we can finally drink because I'm at 21.
Wow.
Oh
This is
God.
another
The
American thing.
moment the
We
moment you
should be
said
18 here. I love that.
literally, I know you can't do technically you can do everything after the age of 25, like rent a car and like book an Airbnb. Like there's other stuff that you really can't do until you're 25, but like hey, at least we can
Wow.
drink, yay. Right. So the next segment is rapid fire. Are you ready for this?
Oh, wait, let me just sit up.
Right.
Okay,
So whenever you're ready, I'll just start blurting it
I'm
out.
ready.
Right. How do you like to start your day?
Caffeine.
Literally. No, that's fine.
Monster
What
energy drink.
what are you most proud of about yourself?
My curiosity.
Hmm. What's your love language?
Quality time.
Ooh, interesting. Do you believe in fate, free will, or a mix of both?
Mix.
Okay.
Should I expand? I'm like, it's not rapid fire if I expand, is it?
Do you believe everything happens for a reason?
Yes.
Right. How do you silence self-doubt on tough days?
Talking to other people.
Mm,
Yep.
definitely human
Affirming,
interaction.
affirming people. Have a good social circle. Yes.
Agreed. A song that always lifts your mood. Like you listen to it, you're having the
What?
crappiest day, and you listen to it, and you're like,
It's "Work Bitch" by Britney Spears.
love it,
Hey,
love
there
it.
you go.
It's my
Yes.
gym anthem. When I'm like suffering on the weights, I'll be like, "You better work if you want to party in France." She just gets me going.
Give me some
Yes.
Never thought I'd
Cardi, and I'll be shaking some ass in the corner.
say that.
Worst dates fail.
Date fail.
Hmm.
Oh.
Like you tried to go on a date and it like flopped epically.
I went on one where my bikini fell off. That's kind of a flop, isn't it? A gravity flop. Or a
In
Oh
which
mood
way is
flop.
the one?
Oh my god! Yeah,
Yeah.
that is. Oh my god! Did you
I'm
scare
just
him
kind of
off?
ruined the mystery a little bit.
That's
Oh
funny.
no!
Like third base, we're at like seventh base.
Literally. Oh my god. Okay. What's one thing that instantly makes you smile?
Oh god, my cat. That's so lame, but my cat.
That's fine. That's why pets are there. Who would play you in a movie about your life? So a biopic.
And I hope it would be me. Maybe
It's
like
me.
Jessica Chastain. I feel like could be a good match.
I was just
Yeah.
But
thinking that, to be honest.
I feel like I'd want to pick someone more difficult, like Brad Pitt or someone who would really struggle, just because it would be really funny for me to watch him try.
Well, I guess not trying to be gender specific, but a female would be preferable. I mean, yeah, I'll take Brad Pitt. That's
Too
fine.
easy. I want to give him a challenge.
She got kicked out, so Brad Pitt, you're next.
Exactly. Come on, Brady. Let's see what you got.
Which country would you love to film in one day?
Oh, I would love to film in Italy. I'm half Italian. Let's go. Let's go to Italy.
I was there back in May. Oh, amazing,
Oh,
amazing.
I'm so
Yeah.
jealous.
Sorry. One actor you'd love to work with. Like
Uh,
anyone.
I would love to work with. Oh, he's not working anymore.
That's
Um,
fine. It could be someone dead too.
so Brad Dourif. I feel like
Hmm.
he's less well known. Really amazing, underrated actor.
How do you
Totally.
describe vertical dramas to people who've never watched them? Unfiltered
Ooh,
version.
unfiltered. You'll laugh a lot. You'll cry. It'll change your life. It'll be short and sweet. Um, yeah, that's it.
That's not very
Instant
unfiltered.
gratification.
That's
I was
fine.
like, this is rapid fire, Jess. Answer, in like 5 words.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll be like, the most fucked up shit that will fuck up with your brain. That's what I would have said.
It's a question.
The question.
I
I was
said
like, wait, what?
unfiltered, meaning she can curse. She can swear.
Oh,
Anyways,
okay.
most intense scene you've ever shot.
uh Definitely trying to give someone a C-section.
What? Okay, I do not recall that, but interesting. Favorite emoji?
This one.
Oh, okay, with the tongue sticking out. That's funny. Coffee
With
order?
a little like winky face. Coffee order. Monster
Yes.
energy drink.
I love that
I'm
you
actually
like
not a big coffee
Monster.
fan. I'm not a big I know I feel like this is an ad for Monster Energy drink. I'm not a big coffee drinker.
That's
Me
fine.
either.
Coffee turned into Monster. So, what's your favorite
Mm.
flavor of Monster? Because they do have flavors.
Ooh. I like the strawberry ones.
Yes.
Strawberry tastes nice. Walker's crisps or Lay's crisps?
As an Australian, I feel like I have to say what?
You don't have Lay's in Australia.
Do we?
What kind of
think
crisps
so.
do you have in Australia then?
Can we have Pringles?
Yes. Okay. So Walkers or Pringles? You do know what Walkers are.
Oh, oh, I see. Yes, well, I'm gonna say Pringles then. Pringles.
That's fine. Sneakers or heels? Or trainers or heels?
I definitely spend more time in sneakers.
That's fine. Fish and chips or meat pie?
Oh, fish and chips because I'm gluten intolerant. You can't eat
Oh,
the meat pie.
can't have meat pie then. Vegemite, love it or hate it.
Love it with some melted butter.
If you do not have butter with your Vegemite, you're diabolical. I'm
No,
sorry. You
gross.
need the
It's
perfect
gross.
amount of butter. It's gross, literally.
That's
The
it.
butter is
When
what makes
Americans
it good.
especially will tell me that they're like, I tried Vegemite. It's like, yeah, how did you have it? Did you have it like on crispy bread with some melted butter? And there's like a 50-50 ratio. You got to do it right. Otherwise, it's disgusting.
They're like, no, I just took it out and I just spread it on some toast. I'm like,
I've
that's
seen
why
people
your
just
mouth.
eat it like that. And you're like, yeah, that's why you're on the floor rolling around.
Listen, I saw a video where a guy tricked Americans saying that Vegemite is like the Australian version of Nutella. Heap spoonful. And
Oh
I'm
my
just
God,
like,
there's like a churro to
no!
dip it in or something. No, that's it. Pranksters everywhere here.
Horrible, horrible. Sydney sunshine or London fog?
Oh, definitely sunshine.
Mm. Do you call it thongs or flip-flops?
Thongs, baby, thongs.
And
They
no,
can't
we're
be
not talking
confused
about
when someone
thong
wears like a G-string because we call those thongs as well.
G-strings. Yeah, I was just about to say, disclaimer, we're not talking about lingerie or underwear, you nasty little
Context is so
pranksters.
important.
Literally, God. Best Aussie slang word.
Oh, oh, oh. You know what? I gotta say I like Macca's. I know it's not like a big one, but I feel like whenever I say that, especially when I'm overseas shooting with Americans, they're like, what's Macca's?" Like
It's
it
literally
always gets me.
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. If you could
But
teleport anywhere,
I think if I was to say not McDonald's, I'd have to say Drongo.
Drongo.
Bloody Drongo.
I like that. What if you could teleport anywhere right now, where would you go? Anywhere in the world.
I want to say something cheeky like Brad Pitt's bedroom.
You can say that. You can.
Hey,
That's
yeah.
totally fine. That's fine.
I would teleport to Jensen Ackles, so
Yeah, he would probably be really surprised.
hey.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Oh my God. Now, this is totally off topic. If you guys had the chance to be either Jensen Ackles, and this for you too, Jennifer, or Brad Pitt's maid, would you guys take that offer? Like their
Yeah.
personal
Yes.
servants.
Yeah. Just accidentally walked into the bathroom like a vertical.
I pretend to be his like secret billionaire maid, you know, like I'm secretly a billionaire.
Yes.
I have a side job as a fireman, you know.
Bloody hell, that's so funny. Okay,
When I'm an heiress.
what's a quote or mantra you live by?
Ooh. Well, I have a picture on my wall, a big poster in black and white that says "Get shit done." So I'm gonna have to go with
Yeah.
"Get shit done." It's literally on my wall.
Hey, I'll take it. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Um.
So, 17-year-old you doesn't have a TV in the house, needs to go to mates to watch something.
Rapid fire, Jess. I would say, I think I'm stealing this from someone. I feel like it might have been oh my God, I'm totally blanking on the actor's name, but she says, say no and fuck off more.
I love that.
Yeah. Because I
Absolutely.
think women are very much people pleasers, and until you grow out of that, it really slows you down.
Yes.
Mm.
I agree 100%.
What? I can't agree. I'm not a woman. Unless I grew a fanny overnight. um, what's something about you that people often misunderstand?
Um, hmm. I think when I'm in new social situations, I tend to be very like kind of rigid
Mm,
in my body posture, and people will sometimes be like, "Did you used to be a dancer or something?" And it's just something that I do when I'm nervous. I just get really like kind of tall and like postural, and so people will sometimes think they'll tell me later. They'll say, "When I first met you, I found you kind of intimidating and
right.
thought that you were a bit like snooty." And then when people get to know me, I'm actually really like silly.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the misconception that happens, and it's simply like a reaction to my anxious body language. I'm actually really silly, and probably only a little bit snooty.
Yeah.
Well, we love that. So, and the last question is finish this sentence. At the end of the day, I am happiest when.
At the end of the day, I am happiest when I'm at home
Perfect.
with a good book and a full
Mm.
stomach with my cat on my
What
lap.
genre of book?
Ooh, look, I'm a bit of a sucker for a good romance book.
Dark or regular?
Ooh, definitely dark.
So, thank you very much for coming on the Vertical Take. And
Thank
I will
you.
link all of your socials in the description box below. And to the rest of you who made it to the end of this, thank you.
Ow.
Peace.
Thanks for all my crazy responses. They're still here.